Hello everyone. Today I'll give a quick update on my account, talk about some of the trades that I've executed this week, then the status of the Tesla inclusion into the S&P 500, and where some of the ETF funds stand on that inclusion as far as holdings go. All right, so let's quickly talk about the account. I did deposit another $1,500 into the account this week, so that did bring down my total year-to-date gain, and my account value now stands at $212,000. Okay, so let's go into the two holdings. And they usually have a section where you can download their daily holdings as kind of what's shown here on the SPDR, S&P 500, and then the iShares S&P 500. I think these are probably the two better named S&P 500 ETFs. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at those. So what I did was went to these websites and then I downloaded their Excel sheet and then I did a search for Tesla. And so I can just bring up the websites here. So this is an example of one here. I'll put the URL as well into the description of the video. And so if you go to the iShares, then you can go down to some of the metrics, and then holdings is a section. And then right there, you will see a detailed holdings and analytics. So that is the file that I did download. We can zoom in on that. Okay, so then I went on iShares website, and then I just went ahead and downloaded the detailed holdings and analytics. And this is one that they update quite frequently. I would not say daily, but it may not be every day. And then that will take you into their holdings for iShares. And so for iShares, they will list all the holdings. So I can just do select all, and it will list all of the holdings and the assets. And then I did find an entry on the Tesla. And so the way that I read this is a derivative. It's not clear to me exactly how many shares that would be for this, or if it's just strictly in cash, because it says cash and derivatives. So it's cash set aside for Tesla, or they actually have a derivative or a combination of that. That's somewhat unclear to me, but that is an entry I did find in the iShares core. And then moving on to the next one is the SPDR S&P 500 Trust. They have a holdings section too on their website, and you can go to the daily and download all their holdings for the day. And that was as of December 14th. So they haven't updated it for today yet on there. And then when you go to the holdings on that, I did not see any entries for Tesla on that one. And so we could just do a search for Tesla, and it does not come back with any results on that. So it does not look like at this point they are holding any shares of Tesla at this point, 3 days before the inclusion. And so it'll be interesting to see, as the days progress, if they do start to increase their holdings. So right now, the only thing that I'm seeing so far is for the iShares, they have a 0.3% weight holding. So if we trust that this weight actually translates into approximate number of shares, then that would match. Or if it's just simply a monetary value in cash, that's still somewhat unclear to me from that. So that did impact my trade. And I did go ahead and close out the options that I opened up. And I made a profit on those options that I opened and closed for my Tesla shares. Okay, and so let's go ahead and look at those. First, we'll show my current positions on the account. I did a few more trades than I had expected to do. So on Monday, I saw that the Ford share price was up to $9.14. So I went ahead and decided rather than an $8.50 put, I just went ahead and sold a $9 put. And then almost immediately after I did that, the stock dropped below $9 a share for Ford, which means that all of my puts that I had sold were in the money and that I was going to lose those short positions. And so I did want to keep at least some short position on the account. So I did put a limit trade in to purchase an additional 500 shares of Ford going short at $9. And it did not hit until the next business day, today. And then I did purchase an additional shares of 500. And then I turned around and sold a $8.50 put on those. I did collect 4 cents on those shares, so that only gave me $20. But I did want to have some type of short position in case this did stay below 9. And I don't anticipate it going below 8.50, but it very well could. In addition to that, the NVTA did drop, that stock. So it's one I've been watching for a while, and I've traded in the past. So I decided to write a put at 50. And so I would be obligated to buy that stock if it drops below $50 by the expiration on the 18th. Regardless of whether it drops below or not, I do get to keep the premium. It's just a question of whether or not this stock will be assigned. I have a maintenance now on my account of $15,000 or $5,000 per contract. So I have 3 contracts of that. And if it goes below $50 on the Friday, then that stock will be assigned. And I'll have $15,000 worth of shares in NVTA. And then lastly, I did write the call option at 220 for Square as I expected. and I collected a premium $395 for that. And then I sold a put at 210 and collected a premium of $90 for that. So those were my trades that I executed for this week that are still in play. So let's move on to the ones that I did close. Okay, so this shows first on the right-hand pane, basically the transaction activity for the week. So these are the two that were in the money last week that were assigned at that dollar value. These were the expiration of those options I had wrote last week, or the previous week that did expire on the 11th. These are the trades that I've executed so far this week. I did receive a dividend for CCJ because I held it through their dividend period. And so that was $140 some. And here we can see where I put the trades on for the Tesla, the options, as I had mentioned before. And I had put limit orders on the Monday. The premiums of those had dropped. And so as a result of that, none of the Tesla trades executed that day, last Monday. So I did put them at a lower limit today, and they did sell off. And so I did collect a premium of $562 and $439 for 3 out of the 4. For this week, it was already down to like 9 cents, so it just simply wasn't worth writing an option on it. I just decided to hold the 4th contract that I could have wrote and did not write it. But then during the day, I did decide to just go ahead and close out those option positions, and I did make money on those as well. So from those 3 contracts I wrote in the morning and then closed out towards the end of the trading day, I made roughly $350 on those. So that was somewhat nice. And so going forward for the Tesla, kind of based on what I'm seeing with these different ETFs, it looks like they've kind of squandered their time. They have not purchased these shares for the inclusion in the S&P. That will, for the most part, happen, I believe, on Friday and then going into Monday as well. Based on these two, and I've tried to look at some other ones as well, I didn't really see any activity for them either with Tesla. And I'm kind of becoming concerned that really none of these ETFs really prepared, and that everybody's kind of expecting this drop to occur, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I think what's going to end up is these shares will be bid up on Friday and on the Monday, and everybody will expect that share price to drop, and I'm not sure that it will. And there's quite a bit of shares that will need to be purchased, and that's quite a bit of upward pressure. So it will certainly be interesting to see what happens, and I don't think anybody's really clear on exactly what will happen. This is a very unique event. My take on it is it may not drop like a lot of people are expecting. You know, if they didn't front run it enough and there's not enough shares available, then it will just simply keep continuing to go up. Very similar to the way that happened with Yahoo when it was included in the S&P as well. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for today. All right, thanks. Bye.